Hey, YouTube and Six String. Keith here, Fourth and Mitch Studio, just chilling here this Tuesday afternoon. Got a nice rare day off from work, and I'm spending it in my studio with my trusty Ibanez RG, Natasha, and we are playing in D today, which I actually tune to a lot of the times. It's my native tuning, I guess, if you will. I love all tunings. I really enjoy standard tuning and half step down, and I've been really getting into a lot of the new modern progressive metal bands. Playing in crazy tunings and C sharp tuning and a lot of the open tunings like open C and open G. Which a lot of slide guitars use. But actually, I got into it through Devin Townsend. If you haven't heard him, check him the hell out. He's fucking wild and badass and crazy and goofy and funny and irreverent. Today, I'm just going to sit here and talk to you guys for a little bit, introduce myself. I'm new to the app. Came online here about a week ago. A friend of mine turned me onto it. And in return, his father turned him onto it, which is great. It's a great community. I like how everybody is positive and gives constructive criticism and doesn't flame or troll people and that's not what it's about. It's about nurturing and sharing what you know that somebody else might not know. And I think that's great. I think that's what social media should be for, and it shouldn't be for the other shit that propagates our culture now. I don't have any time for it, and I don't pay attention to it, and I won't propagate it. But I've been playing for 12 years. I'm 40 now, so my late 20s. I messed around with things when I was a teenager, but I never had the commitment. I was a teenager and running wild, and I didn't have a minute to sit down and focus on something like this. But I needed something in my life at the time, in my 20s, to center me. And I was like, well, I always liked guitars and music in general. So I went out and spent a couple $100 on some gear, and I've been hooked ever since. And I have no plans on stopping anytime soon. If you would ask what kind of style I play, my friend and brother Tony, he coined it a couple years ago with our old band, psychedelic blues thrash fusion. It kind of sums up what we do. He's definitely got more of a style that leans towards the jazz, jazz chords and the more melodic. I still like my meathead metal. Real guttural, deep, crunchy, brutal, riffs and stuff of that ilk. But I also like just a really beautiful, clean, bluesy tone and I'm a gearhead, as you can see. Eventually I'm going to post an actual tour of my studio. It's not like it's a massive studio. It's actually one of the smallest rooms in my house. But I have ambitions and goals to actually have a space off-site of my house and be able to, have bands in and rent the space and rent the equipment out and, just even if I make enough money just to cover the nut of the rent and everything and the equipment in the studio, then so be it. But that's my dream and my goal, and I'm working towards that. When will that be? I don't know, but I'll definitely share that when it does happen. But but having a space in my home has definitely been a blessing. I can bring in a full band. I have everything you need. I have a house drum kit now. I do play drums a little bit. I wouldn't say I'm spectacular at it. I have timing issues, don't we all? But I enjoy playing them, and they're here for when other musicians come in and we want to, throw down and jam, and whether they want to pick up a guitar, a bass guitar. I have 7 strings, acoustics, numerous different styles of guitars. Now, obviously, I love my Ibanez guitars. Always have. I like my joint, pointy, sharp metal things, And but I have a Schecter 7 string, and I got a Stratocaster, which I love. It's a HSS setup, so I can shred on it, but I can get that really beautiful classic single coil blues tone I know and love. And yeah, I got a couple. I got a basically like a Les Paul knockoff. I guess it's an Ibanez. I forget that. They got these crazy long serial numbers instead of just like, oh, this is the whatever, the white bird or whatever. They don't have unique names. They got these crazy. That's the only thing my only complaint about Ibanez. I do a lot of mixing. I do a lot of mastering and recording. I use Studio One Pro, which I love. A lot of people use Cubase or Pro Tools, and I'm not opposed to them, but I just find that Studio One, I like the way it looks. And everything's drag and drop and easy to find. It's intuitive, and it's just better for my learning. I play a little bit of piano too. I don't have a piano at the moment. I have a MIDI controller, and I use Arturia analog synths and pianos and organs and stuff for my work. A lot of my music is I use loops, and I use drum editors like Easy Drummer, stuff like that. I'm starting to incorporate live mic'd acoustic drums, which is a tedious, complicated bitch, and to get everything dialed in, and but I'm learning. But hopefully, eventually, everything will be not sampled and stuff like that. But with modern technology, and some people would say, oh, that's you don't need all this gear, you don't need all this, and that's true, absolutely. There's times when I'll sit Indian style on my bed at night, and I'll just pick up my acoustic guitar, and I'm content and happy to be. But all this equipment that I've saved up for many years is something I've always desired, and it allows me to put something out there that normally I wouldn't be able to, or it would cost thousands and thousands of dollars to rent, somebody else's recording studio. And I like that freedom, and I don't have to answer to anybody, and I can just perform and play and do what I like. And I really have been enjoying a lot of the YouTube stuff. In recent months, I've dropped cable, and I got off the Comcast tit, if you will. And I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos and of Rob Chapman and Rabir Masad and Lee Anderton and Mary Chapman and Frog Leap Studios and stuff of that ilk, and rig rundowns on Premiere Premiere Guitar and all that kind of stuff. And I've been learning a lot, and I've been learning a lot about video production and audio production. I keep everything pretty lo-fi and simple. I record video off my phone right now, but eventually I'm going to upgrade to HD and all that kind of stuff. I'm just trying to feel my way out here, and I'm trying to build up a base of people that are interested in whether it's in my music or just me and my guitar nerd self and what I have to share. Do I have hopes of monetizing it? Not particularly. I've found sometimes that when you do something that you love and passionate about, and if you do invest and it becomes a business, it does become work. And I'd like to find a happy medium where I have my career, and I do that, and then I make a couple bucks on the side to help other bands and other musicians record their ideas and stuff like that might not have the ability of space, time, and the equipment. I would be quite content and could die tomorrow knowing that that's what I've given to the world. Yeah, I spend a lot of time in here. This is my I'm constantly, and if I'm not here, I'm constantly thinking about here, and I'm constantly working on ideas. I had the not so daily jam cam. Some days I just don't feel like recording. I don't feel like, recording what I'm playing or what have you. But I do enjoy sharing, you know, my passion and love for this, and then I like recording video and all that kind of stuff, and it's a good outlet and it's freeing, and I hope you guys all appreciate it. My musical influences. Uh, Basically, I grew up as a metalhead. Um, it was weird. I was like, the town I live, the small town I live in. It's a definite melting pot of different cultures. And like everybody, I'm an amalgamation of my influences, and it was either, late, mid to late '80s hip hop or thrash metal. You know what I mean? And my my mom's ex fiance influenced me on a lot of the hair metal stuff, and as a chick, you strip all that away from the bands. There's some really good music there, some good music, but I actually, I came of age in the early '90s, which was grunge era, and I came out of the punk and metal scene of that era too, and everything was stripped down. Didn't matter what you dressed, did not matter how you looked, and I wasn't a metal elitist and all that kind of stuff. I was open to tons of different things and influences. But yeah, I'd say I'm a thrash head, metalhead, what have you. I like the heavy. I like to bring it heavy. And I like to listen to it heavy, and it got me through some really crazy, confusing years of my life, and it still continues to do so. But that being said, I also got influences from my grandmom, who was a piano player, but also she loved the jazz, man. She was of the Depression era, and she got me into big band. She got me into Louis Armstrong, and she got me into some of the brass guys, and you know, uh, guys like Johnny Cash and some of the outlaw country guys. And like I said, I fell on the blues myself. I remember. Friend, my roommate and brother Lou, he lent me a Blind Boy Fuller album from 1938 or 39, total Piedmont style blues, and I ate that shit up. Um, I still have a little bit of that, you know, improvisational blues acuity, I guess, if you will, and I always go to that. Um, I wrote a song years ago. I called myself the Pentatonic Kid because, like a lot of people, you hit that plateau and you're playing, and you can't break from that pentatonic scale. Um, a lot of times I'm playing something and I don't even recognize what I'm playing, and it takes like my friend Tony to point out, oh, you're playing it, you're playing that in Dorian, or you're playing that in a Lydian, or what have you. I'm not very savvy with music theory. I can work things out. I can sense by ear what somebody else is playing in, you know, and I can usually lock into it and just go with it. Um, I'm huge into improv. Uh, Comparing, there's like bands like Fish or The Dead or something like that. Yeah, I would say there's some similarities in just the idea of the improv, but in improvisation, but it stops there. It's I'm bringing a whole different style and heaviness to this improvisational thing. So it's like jazz metal, you know, um, I guess in a way it brings the sensibilities of jazz improvisation to a metal sound. Um, but I'm not. Uh, Looking down my nose upon well rehearsed, well thought out, production and songwriting and all that kind of stuff. And I hope to, I strive to write that song, you know. Um, but like I said, a lot of the times it's I just love the freestyle, you know, no rules within the rules kind of thing, and I just love that. And I found that a lot of musicians don't have that ability, and I envy the abilities I don't have in others. I mean, there's people out there that can hear a song once and they can completely, cover it and put their own stamp on it, and that impresses the hell out of me. It also intimidates me as a player because, like, it takes a lot of work for me to figure out even songs that I love. I don't have that ability, but you know, I can pick up a guitar and make it weep. And to me, that's a gift from, the Lord above, or whatever's out there. I'm open to everybody's interpretations as such. So, but yeah, it's a freeing experience, and I love playing, and I just wanted to take a moment and introduce myself to y'all, and let you know what I'm going to be bringing to the table. I'm also into collaboration too, so if there's anybody out there who digs what I do and they want to share, files over the net and stuff like that, and do some collaborations, whether you're a bass player and you want me to throw some guitar to something you're doing, or drums, or what have you, I'm totally into that, and I think that would be a really fun thing to do, especially for the individuals out there that, like myself, who fly solo, and sometimes you're looking at the same four walls, and you're not communicating with another musician on that level, which can be so rewarding. So if y'all want to jam with me and then stuff like that, I'm totally down, and I think we could do some cool stuff. I like that whole idea of a virtual band kind of thing, and especially on this 6-string app, it's really exciting. That done right, it could be really cool, and then you just throw it right back into the community, and I just think that's awesome. So anyway, I'm rambling on here, so I'm gonna let y'all go, but I just wanted to introduce myself, as I said, and tell you what, guys, I'm all about, and I'll keep pumping out those videos and the songs and stuff like that on SoundCloud, and then yeah, I hope we as a community can keep building upon what we already have here, and keep nurturing each other, and egging each other on to progress and be better. So blessings to you all, and I'll talk to you soon. Later.